that we've had look at these things, they say that it's closely related in terms of structural makeup and how the cranium is to a cow, but there's a lot of differences that don't really they don't fit in at all with a cow, you know. So it's really strange to think that we have UFO cattle mutilations all the time. And
just thinking that, like, to the legitimate ones, 100%, like that would be why, because they're reported like literally for like the last 50, 100 years, if not thousands of years, these animal mutilations by them, but specifically cows for, well, since at least Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at that, how they carved the
sign. Even in the Hindu culture, it's like, you know, leave your sacrifice at the edge of the cave so the gods can eat it, kind of scenario.
Well, that's this whole human sacrifice thing to the gods really brings a whole new thought of, you know, maybe these gods actually were physical entities on this planet at the time when this initial sacrifice started to occur, because we found a lot of depictions of it on these pieces. We found the daggers for it. We found boxes dedicated to it with the daggers inside. It's nuts.
So wonder what their idea of structured water and
and here I'll kill the lights.
A lot of them are using plant medicines. Plant medicines are kind of an interesting aspect in all these ancient cultures.
That's like, where did they get all this knowledge?
The question is why? Where did that plant medicine is a technology? Where did that come from or go to? Right? Wow, exactly. But how would you know to do this if you didn't have
10,000 years ago, right? Well, here's my theory. You know, these are winged beings that look similar to angels, or what we've been told angels look like. And so if they really did have a halo as we depict them today, then it's very possible that halo has a UV spectrum inside of it. And if that's the case, then that's how these pieces lit up.
It could have been a life-saving device. I mean, any species coming to a new planet is going to have issues with the atmosphere and the biology on this planet, because it's not native to their own.
look at the implants on the Nazca mummies. I mean, they have these, it looks like, to secure or structure their shoulders and hips for strengthening, you know.
How are you charging these up? What is your light source?
It's a UV beast, just a 365 nanometer UV beast. I've got a 385 here too. And still, they cause different reactions.
Wow. Damn.
Right, and the blue, the red, and the green, like the
I saw that in the last two pieces.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of phosphorescence.
They all have this haloescent feature to them. Interesting.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of time. And what's really crazy is before, like, I bought 250 of these pieces, and they never advertised it that this happened or anything. My wife had a light on our table that she uses for her glass blowing, and she uses a uranium type glass. And all of a sudden, one day we saw there was this pine cone right here. You can see how it's laying on the table. But when we shut it off, we could see the corner of it like that. And sure enough, you know, we started noticing that almost every one of these things had glow. You can see this thing, the entire thing is made of calcite that goes from red to green. But it's I mean, to find all these specimens that had these different effects and different things, I mean, it would take quite a bit of effort, I would think.
And what's the source of the phosphorescence? Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
And that you said there was a couple artifacts that were found like in a water basin, like creek bed, and that their glow was exponentially weakened, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you can see here on this cup itself here was found in the river, and it just doesn't have a very strong glow. It's real hit and miss where it's at on the pine cones still.
Wash over, bury, yeah, sure.
This is the same thing. You can see when I hit this, I mean, it barely is there, but it was, you know, up close when you can see it was everywhere at one point. So, yeah. And like this big tablet here, the entire thing glows.
Just mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
It looks like the art, like those ones with the elongated skulls with like the angel wings and the halos and stuff on them. Those specific artifact ones, they also have a lot of the hieroglyphs on them and stuff. Seem the most identical, like as if the exact same artist or artisans as the ones that Nassim Haramein and Klaus Donna.
This is similar to the sphere where it has a removable piece. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all carrying, handbags and passing the pine cone, similar to the Anunnaki. We found the Shamash logo, or whatever you want to call it there, the symbology for Shamash. We found obviously tons of the all-seeing eye. It's on, everything with the pyramid, just like our money, This is close to the Shamash here. That's kind of what I was talking about. What's interesting is you see this logo, it was like the Bank of Iraq or Bank of Iran. One of the two has this as their logo with Shamash standing at the top, the bearded fellow that looks almost like he's an Anunnaki. And it's really interesting to see this sphere with this in there all the time, because we think that it represents like their way of travel. The angels traveled in a sphere, and these orbs that you see around in these videos oftentimes might actually be these beings in their orb form, because that's what the pieces are showing essentially. I can show examples of the orb.
Open up the sphere again. Sorry. Yeah.
The sphere. Oh yeah. Hang on, let me get over there.
We're in that off show, so yeah.
Yeah, this piece is actually really, really valuable because you can see it's been the pieces have been broken off, and the glue that was holding them on has been sampled by Scott Wolter.
Oh, that's a piece of the outside. Oh, I get you. All right.
Yeah. Just so now I use it to show on videos like this of how they're doing this, and so they're taking a piece of ceramic.
Okay, so that's the pieces Scott Wolter took.
Yeah, I shipped this to him, and he took samples off and got everything done for his lab. And he runs a lab, so he did quite a bit of testing already. And then, you can see on the inside, it's got a lot of manganese.
How many tethers are in that? 12, 13?
Tethers? What do you mean, like?
There's all the
segments.
pie pieces in the lid on the bottom.
Oh gosh, I would say there's hundreds total between
flip
the
it over.
the top
the
and the
side.
bottom.
Other side.
There you go. There's an inscription.
How many of these pieces are there?
Pie pieces. The pie pieces, essentially.
Hang on, let me pull it up here. You can.
There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7. It's like 13.
12.
Interesting.
13? You're getting 13.
Well, the Mayans always use a 13-month calendar. So
you're correct. That is 13.
Super important. Now what's crazy is you look at the one going around the outside, and now is that going to be the month or the
right? Like, is that a star calendar or some sort of aspect?
And we found a lot of cultural consistencies with that sort of math and numbers, and 7-pointed stars and the Star of Ishtar. Star of Ishtar here is on everything almost. It's in the Abuelos pieces more so. The two snakes coming out of the orb.
I hear Ishtar. I'm like, what? What did somebody just say? Ishtar? I appeared.
What?
What?
7-pointed star. So that's also Aleister Crowley's star.
Wait, you said 7-pointed?
So that's interesting.
Well, no. Ishtar's not 7-pointed, but this is the Star Ishtar here, and then the 7-pointed star would be down here.
You were saying
okay, I was going to say 8.
Yeah, I'll show it real quick. Let me
that's
turn
not
this thing
correct,
around.
But it could be.
Sorry. Oh,
I almost got it tattooed on me.
There it is.
Ooh, wow. What? Yeah, you didn't show us.
Hey, little buddy.
Wow.
It's on his forehead?
Hi.
Yeah, no,
this was the blast point.
Dude, that was so interesting. Is the ranch? What was it? Stardust Ranch,
Zoom,
and
yeah, it's
it's
like
on the
zoom out a
same.
little and show the whole body of that thing.
On Stardust Ranch, it's on the same alignment as Skinwalker Ranch,
Oh
and they
wow.
found like this. He would always have interdimensional beings like Greys and stuff come to his ranch. It actually his place and his stories actually fascinated me more than Skinwalker Ranch. But one of the things that dropped when he saw one of these beings was this rock, and it had this carving that was like a star, but it was carved into the rock. They had it tested, but that's very interesting because that's like maybe that can be used for some type of interdimensional travel, you know.
Yeah. I keep an open mind at this point. That's the best answer I feel, because this stuff has blown my mind on the daily. So I just keep learning and trying to understand it, because it's a deep story.
You're like, yeah, just when I figure this out. Like I'll just figure
Right?
out these symbols mean, like the tablet I'm working on, like, oh yeah, this will be a few months,
Well,
you know? Like I just thought it would be just a few months. Like, oh, this will be a 6-week project. It's like, are you kidding
this is
me?
the symbol of the angels right here. The sphere within a sphere with the two wings on the outside. And you look at other people who have used this symbol in the
With a
past, and like,
scarab
what?
beetle on top.
Yeah, exactly.
The scarab is Kefir, and interestingly, the Ankh is the key of life. So the key of life is the sacred womb. So the teardrop shop, the teardrop shape is basically the womb. Then you have the two triangles going out to the ovaries and the vaginal canal at the bottom. And it's interesting that you flash forward to today with this symbol, and the symbol of the female is the circle on the cross, which is almost exactly the same circle.
I feel like we're all kind of living the life of a dung beetle, you know. We're taking our own shit. We're trying to propel it forward, you know. We're just trying to take all the crap we're given and, you know, have it propel us forward and move onwards and upwards, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how
Just
many
a
pieces
schoolhouse.
do you have in your collection, just out of curiosity?
I have about 650 pieces right now of substantial merit. Between our network of the people like that just met down there in Las Vegas, I would say we have over 10,000 pieces.
Oh, that's the backside of that one. Wow, interesting.
Wait, so is this like a source for you? Or you guys teamed up?
And so
the Tula
the
or
backside
whatever?
of that is
Yeah.
also glowing. Yeah, interesting.
We were all kind of like against each other when we first started, just because we thought, everybody had a different opinion about what this was and what we were seeing. And so we had differences of opinion, but the unification that occurred was that none of us were powerful enough to bring this truth to the light by ourselves. And the only way we were going to get any traction was to work together and to create a network of people who believe that this stuff is legitimate and want to investigate the history more.
That's kind of the Age of Aquarius vibe of like it's an
I know.
individuated consciousness, right? An
Right.
individuated consciousness. So it's like as a collective we rise, but we're kind of doing it individual, but we come together as well. And that's what I love to see, you know, like channels coming together and unifying and collaborating and putting their egos aside, really. Like, hey man, I'm gonna help you, you help me. I love that, especially in the relic world.
Nice pipe, brah.
Right? Like,
Isn't that cool? You can put it on your
Whistle.
finger and take a little
Whistle.
sneak a toe.
It's your ring.
oh, it is a pipe
Oh,
too.
man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
It
pipe
is a
ring.
pipe. No,
Be like
totally.
a bloody
That's what I'm
knuckles,
saying.
too.
Nice pipe, brah.
Brass knuckles. That is many uses. That's a pretty handy dandy
Is it a
accessory
whistle
right there.
though, too?
Yeah, this is a whistle here. The reed is right here on the thumb, and then there's another hole right there, and then I'll plug them
Do
here.
you mind playing
Still
a couple
I'll play
of
it.
Wow.
please?
No, of course. I don't know if you could hear that or not because I have headphones on, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the whistle.
That
That
was
was
awesome.
amazing. Interesting.
Yeah, those one aren't as musical. Some of them sound like birds, and literally,
Ooh, I want to hear the
there-
bird one.
there's this that's like a skull that's a whistle as well, and it sounds really great.
Sounds like an owl.
Right? Yeah, no, it definitely has
You never
the
thought they'd
moo,
use your skull as a whistle.
let alone out of stone to make it in
Whoa,
tune
what's
like
that?
that.
What is that?
Right?
What is that he's holding, Hans?
The sound?
Hans, what is that? Bernie, you
Oh,
guys.
Oh,
dear.
see, and this is a
Oh,
common thing. Like I
dear.
have full size members, literally that are giant. There's a lot of depictions, like this gentleman here who's here, let me turn the light on so you can see him. But you can see his definitely proud of
Warning,
himself.
Take over.
Yeah,
It's
it's art. It's okay.
Palace worship, right?
It's
I
art.
mean, were
It's
they
art.
wrong,
Right,
ladies?
but
Were they
that's
wrong?
right there. One more aspect that leads to like looking like authentic is the fact of like the ancients all being obsessed with the phallic
Dude, I
like
get it.
carvings and
Yeah, like the
representations.
Karahan
everywhere. I mean,
Karahan
That's why
Tepe. I
saying
mean,
inside of the sphere is like the
And we see
Shiva
it a
lingam,
lot.
and so
Here, let me grab
interesting.
this
It's
ring really quick.
removable, but in
Turn this
Hindu
light on.
culture, the Shiva lingam is huge. Yeah.
So this
Yes.
obelisk here is really crazy. It's gold leafed, and we've tested a lot of this gold leaf with XRF. And what's really interesting is none of it's a consistent alloy. We get 11 karat, 9 karat, 10 karat. Some of it has silver, some of it has rhodium, some of it has crazy elements that I haven't seen, really in anything. Radium. The rhodium itself is worth so much that it's crazy that they don't refine that out of there if it's modern, because it's worth more than gold. This ring here has a beautiful blue carnelian
What
in a
is that
scarab
carved
form.
on it? Oh, scarab.
Yeah, it's a scarab.
Interessante.
The size of it too, hey? Pretty big band.
It's not super big. It actually it almost fits me. So yeah, and it glows too. There's inlay and all the carving on the ring with it as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to be like, see, now something like that I could suspect possibly being like faked by them, like thrown in as extra, but then you're like, no, it also has the crazy inlay and the glow and all of it.
Yeah, and then let alone too, it's tucked in this crazy thing that it fits just perfect in and allows this obelisk to sit. And it's a part of an entire complex.
Didn't even see that. Right, like these, it's just so.
And these are part of the one stone. Like, look, this is a one-piece object here. This was carved out of a single block. These guys.
Okay, wow. So then that's the same stone that ring is made out of, and most likely was also carved
no,
within.
Not the ring, but the box for the ring is all one piece. And then there's this guy here, which is really interesting. He's the eye of Ra. He's got the eye for a head, but I've never seen this deity in Egypt before.
Very good point.
But I've seen it on a few of these pieces, so it's interesting for sure.
And like, so
I'll show you
what look like board games there. Can you go back to that, or show what you're going to show first? But then please go back to what looked like almost Chinese checkerboard there, or whatever that thing was. Like, got to take a look at some of these games because that alone could prove to be the forebearers of things like chess and checkers and whatnot. Like, what? Look at that.
Yeah, this is the guy here.
Very similar to Crespi collection right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Here, let me go back to that game board here. And then this boat too, the barge that they're always talking about in Egypt is on these, and like the handle here where it's held actually has like finger marks in it that you can feel like that it was actually held for maybe long periods of time. Yeah, this game is pretty. I have no idea even where to begin.